All right, I'm out here on this beautiful sunny day, yet it's quite cold. It's in the 20s, but I've been meaning to do a job out here in the vineyard, actually, that I probably should have done in January when the temperatures were this cold. But now that it's March, and we are warming up, I have to have a day where it is below freezing for a few days, because I've got to prune the old growth off of these vines, because the new growth will give us the next crop for this fall. So when you prune and you make a cut, if the temperatures are above freezing, you will get oozing, and then that wound might be susceptible to disease, to insects infiltrating in that area. So it's best to do it on a very cold day. Now, what I have here, we have 24 vines of Frontenac grapes. There are 12 reds and there are 12 whites, or Frontenac gris, which means gray. They really aren't a white grape, but they will make a white wine if you ferment them without their skins on them. So here we have this one right here is a Frontenac gris. I'm going to set the camera down and get in close, and I'll give you a little bit of an anatomy lesson. All right, this is called the main trunk, or the main cordon, and we prune our grapes to have a bilateral cordon. So this is the lateral cordon, one coming off to the left here and one coming off to the right. That's just a weed. So off these cordons, this is called a spur, and this was last year's growth. These are called canes. This is a particularly long one. And on the cane is what grows this year's fruit. Okay, I'm trying to find a good representative of a grapevine. This one, we lost the right cordon, so I am making another one. I am trying to train another one to replace the one that we lost. So as you can see here, these are the canes that were all gave us the fruit from last year. Now we need to cut those back to 2 or 3 buds, because at the bud point it will produce another cane to be our fruiting vine. On one that's below here, that we don't really want anymore, because that's down. That's not in the right position. So we're going to cut. We want this vine is so old. We have a couple buds here that will come up and give us canes again. But this one is really quite old. I'm starting another cordon going over here to continue it. But what you want to do is cut away last year's growth. Okay, so we want to cut out anything that's diseased or damaged. So I'm not really, or dead. I'm not seeing too much disease. I've looked it over. So after we've checked it for all of that, we are going to, this is not such a good example of a bilateral system here. Here's the trunk, comes up here to the head. We have a cordon that goes over this way. And I've started another one down here because we lost a main one over there. These are all spurs that are coming off. I've cut them down to 1, 2, and 3 nodes here. I'll cut that one a little shorter. Some people do 2. I'm leaving 3 on just in case something gets damaged along the line. And it's kind of like a safety net. I'll come back later on and do another secondary pruning when I'm sure we aren't going to get any more frost. Here's one that's coming off of here. Here's a node here, 1, 2, and 3. And so we're going to cut this one here. Okay, so we're going to be doing, this one is dead. You can see that. So that's a dead one. We just cut that right off. 1, 2, 3, and cut that off. Here's another one here. 1, 2, 3. That's dead right there. That's dead. This one has a node on it. You can see that right there. So we're gonna have a dilemma whether to leave one of these on or take one off or leave them both. I think maybe for now I will leave them both. That might just be dead right there. So in that case, I am going to just take that off. Okay, here's another one here. We're going to take that off. After a while, you get pretty quick at this in assessing what you need to take off. This one is a dead one. That one will take off. There are a few old dead growths here that we can just trim down. Okay. So never pull your canes off from last year. You could rip and damage your crop. You know, those tendrils are strong. You can see those tendrils up there. And they like to grasp on. Let's see. Here's one down here. Pretty much a judgment call in a lot of instances as to what you leave on and take off. This seems to be, there's a lot of crossing going on here, so you really don't want that. I'm going to take this one off. It seems to be like a bull cane, one that's just going to shoot up. This is, okay, take that part off there. And that down there. There we go. Okay, that's coming off here. There we go. Okay. All right, so I've got my work cut out for me. They aren't the prettiest. They aren't the prettiest of vines, but we didn't know what we're doing. But as long as I prune them correctly and they will give us a nice big productive crop of grapes come next fall. I have been working on this vineyard for a number of years, trying to restructure it, give it some new arms where the old ones have just died off, and they're looking pretty gnarly, but we're hoping for another good crop. Okay, it's done. Took a while. Lots of old growth down on the ground. I'm gonna have to pick these up. I usually just burn them or haul them off into the woods. Now I did leave a lot of buds on here. You're supposed to be 2 or 3. I left 4 or 5. When we have bud break, things are warming up in about April or so. When the buds start to swell and I see what's viable, I'll come back and trim them all back to about 2 buds on each one of these spurs. So, not a pretty sight. Hope I do see a few that I've missed. I'll have to come back and get those. Anyway, I don't think it's an exact science because sometimes I don't feel that I know what I'm doing. But we'll see what the harvest brings this coming fall. Anyway, thanks for following me along on this grape vineyard pruning trip. I'm gonna go in and get a cup of hot tea and warm up. All right, thanks so much. Give me a thumbs up, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.